It's the first evening of the year when it's been properly hot. This is one of the bits I cut earlier. I'm just going to go for a walk around the paths that I've cut. There's one leading through the orchard. It's 7:30 at night, I think, something like that. And I'm quite comfortable in shorts and a t-shirt. I don't know what these are, but these are some of the plants that have been given a chance because we're not mowing short or regularly or in this area at all. I cut this track, but I didn't cut that. I presume that's a fox. And it continues the other side. I have no idea what this is, but it's rather lovely, whatever it is. I'm hoping it's still in flower when I come back from England, where I'm headed in a couple of days. The lilies are soon going to be spectacular. After a relatively short stay, I'm heading back to England. It's 8:30 Wednesday morning. Looks like it's going to be a lovely scorcher of a day. And off we go. I'm on the autoroute in the Cevennes and just stopped for something to eat near Marvejols, away from the autoroute. It must be really quiet out there. It's now the season of camper vans, so plenty of them around. Well, that was quite a long day. I'm now a little bit north of Nevers, and it's hot. And this is the lake right by the campsite. Hope I don't get eaten by midges tonight. There's a lovely cooling breeze coming from it. Well, it was a quiet night, good night's sleep. Slightly fresher up here than it is at home. You can see the mist on the lake. It looks like it's going to be a nice day, although perhaps a little more cloudy than yesterday. But never mind.
Paris Meridian, one of France's most beautiful villages.
down there on the tables by the water. There are thousands of places like this in France. I've stopped for lunch beside the Seine and a cycle path that runs possibly all the way to Paris, which is to the west. And there is my picnic table. I'm either on or about to join the touristic route of the Champagne, which is why I've seen a few more vines around here, because we're on the edge of the Champagne territory. In fact, there's signs everywhere actually for Champagne, so maybe I'm a bit deeper in it than I thought. Second night on the road. I'm just north of Reims, not far off the motorway, about 3 to 4 hours to get to Dunkerque in the morning, depending whether they go on the autoroute or on the non-péage on the ordinary roads. Just having a little walk along the river by the campsite, and when you see this you realise how high the water gets during the winter sometimes. It's all along here as well. I imagine the campsite's underwater in the middle of the winter. It's a blaze of colour with all that blossom, seeds, don't know what it is. It's 7 o'clock, but I missed the beginning. Strangely though, it chimed twice, and yet we're quite far north. And now the bells for 7 o'clock mass. That's an interesting war memorial, isn't it? Nothing glorious about that, just the tragedy of the whole thing. It's a lovely morning, there's not a cloud in the sky. It was a peaceful night, but then these are all old people on the campsite. In fact, most of them still seem to be asleep. I'm driving through the area that the First World War was fought over. So it's very flat, huge open fields. None of the buildings more than 100 years old. And I'm heading at the moment towards Brussels, which is 200 kilometres away. Obviously I'm not going that way, but got an hour and a half to wait for the ferry at Dunkerque. As you can see, I'm the only camper van here so far.